I did a video about berberine, but as I was doing the research, there's something new. It's better, so don't take berberine. Take this instead.
I actually started taking this, and the results might surprise you. I'll tell you what happened to me at the end, and I'll tell you what the studies show specifically as far as weight loss in a real-world setting. Start by talking about berberine because it's important to talk about how this next compound works.
Berberine is an ancient Chinese medicine derived from various plants, and its popularity is skyrocketing. Everybody's making videos about these things. It's been used in Chinese and Indian medicine in the East for infections, digestive disorders, and for weight loss.
Berberine is getting a ton of hype, and these weight loss supplements are getting a ton of hype. And there's studies for blood sugar control, cholesterol management, weight loss as an anti-inflammatory, an antioxidant, and even an antimicrobial as berberine. So it's definitely studied well. But how much weight do you really use? Is it worth the money? Is it worth taking? How do the numbers stack up against weight loss medications like Ozempic or Mounjaro?
It is a naturally occurring compound in roots, stems, and bark of various plants, including golden seal, Oregon grapes, and tree turmeric. There is widespread occurrence in different plants that's extremely unique from most other supplements. It has a vivid color. It's known for its bright yellow color and has historically been used as a yellow dye in wool, leather, and wood. There are a ton of studies on diverse conditions such as nerve diseases, cancers, mental health, weight loss, infections, so it's used for a lot of different stuff. Berberine is one of the few known compounds capable of activating AMP, activated protein kinase, a crucial enzyme in the body that regulates metabolism. This action of berberine is a key reason for its diverse health effects. It also interacts with the gut microbiome. It can potentially impact not just the digestive health, but also systemic health, including glucose metabolism and cardiovascular health. It is often called nature's Ozempic due to its claims of weight loss, improved cardiac health, polycystic ovarian syndrome, symptom relief, and reduced cholesterol levels. Berberine and Ozempic have different mechanisms of action. Ozempic binds to GLP-1 receptors, whereas berberine activates the AMPK enzyme pathway.
What we're going to talk about at the end is a substance that's absorbed better than berberine. It's still all natural variation of berberine, but it doesn't have as hard of a time getting in through our gut lining, leading to lower doses and less side effects for potentially the same amounts of benefits.
The benefits of berberine include insulin resistance and weight loss. Berberine may improve insulin resistance and enhance glucose movement into cells, which can contribute to weight loss. It has shown promising results in reducing body fat in clinical trials, partly due to its impact on insulin and glucose metabolism. Heart health. Studies suggest berberine can lower lipid levels, including reducing total cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, and blood triglycerides, while raising the good cholesterol, HDL cholesterol. It may also lower blood pressure when used alongside hypertension medications. Gut health. Berberine could help balance out gut microbiomes by reducing harmful bacteria and promoting good bacteria, potentially protecting against conditions like diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and cancer. Cognitive and lung health. Some research indicates berberine's potential against neurodegenerative disorders and its ability to improve lung health through anti-inflammatory actions. Liver protection and anti-cancer effects. Early research suggests berberine can support liver health by improving glucolipid metabolism.
There are so many studies on berberine, but not a lot of them are high number and high quality. That's why studies like meta-analyses and systematic reviews find the high quality studies and actually look at the proven benefits. So those focus on blood sugar, cholesterol management. Those are pretty well proven, but most people Google search weight loss. So we're going to go over that specific number, and it can work really well in some people. Also studied is anti-inflammatory effects, antioxidant effects, and gut microbiome effects.
Dihydroberberine is a hydrogenated derivative of berberine. It's still natural, and there are a lot of studies. The first real study was in 2019, studying its absorption, what dihydroberberine does, and yes, it has been studied in humans. Berberine does a lot. And essentially what dihydroberberine is, it's a much better absorbed berberine that can enter through your gut lining, and the levels are about 5 times higher in your gut. Dihydroberberine is studied, and it does help with inflammation, and specifically, it does decrease the mRNA expression of inflammatory markers like interleukin 6, interleukin 1, tumor necrosis factor alpha, and it does adjust certain pathways. So essentially what dihydroberberine is, it's like berberine, but it enters through our gut lining into our stomach. Dihydroberberine and berberine are closely related compounds used for their health benefits, particularly in improving metabolic health. While berberine has been widely studied for its positive effects on glucose levels and insulin sensitivity, recent research suggests that dihydroberberine may actually offer advantages over berberine. It has improved bioavailability and effectiveness. Dihydroberberine is known to have better intestinal absorption than berberine. This leads to higher concentration of berberine in the blood. Now, this is important because a lot of the side effects are stomach issues and digestion issues. So if you can take 1/5 the dose, for example, and the same amount still gets into your blood, that's better. And it can lead to cost reduction. So you don't want to be paying like 60 to $100 a month for this supplement when you could pay 1/5 of that, like $10, $20 potentially. And yes, I'm finding these prices. Studies have shown that lower doses of dihydroberberine can be more effective than higher doses of berberine and achieve similar and better blood levels of berberine. This enhanced bioavailability of dihydroberberine is believed to be the reason for its enhanced benefits in terms of metabolic health.
So dihydroberberine is natural, just like berberine. It's a modification that's still found naturally, but is now just purified. Berberine has a harder time getting through the gut lining. So for example, dihydroberberine can be absorbed about 3 to 5 times greater rate. That means the amount of dihydroberberine that can cross through the cell lining is significantly higher. So we can take a smaller dose, pay less for supplements, take less supplements overall, and as a result have less side effects for all the unabsorbed dihydroberberine.
For example, a study comparing dihydroberberine to berberine showed that dihydroberberine had a 44% improvement in insulin sensitivity, while berberine required 5 times the amount to elicit a similar response. Dihydroberberine has a longer half-life than berberine. This means that it stays in the blood for an extended period of time. This property makes dihydroberberine potentially more efficient as a supplement, as it provides prolonged effects with lower dose requirements. Dihydroberberine has metabolic and anti-inflammatory benefits. Dihydroberberine has shown promise in improving metabolic markers such as blood glucose levels, body fat, and triglycerides. Moreover, it has anti-inflammatory properties, especially beneficial for cardiovascular health, such as cardiovascular inflammation and improving atherosclerosis. It has lower side effects in dosing. Berberine can sometimes cause gastrointestinal discomfort due to its antimicrobial properties. It can affect the microbiome in your gut. Dihydroberberine, on the other hand, is generally associated with fewer GI side effects. Additionally, the effective dosage of dihydroberberine is typically lower than that of standard berberine. That makes it more convenient as a supplement. Gut health dependence. The absorption of berberine is highly dependent on gut health, as it needs to be converted into dihydroberberine and back again for effective absorption. People with a compromised gut health may not efficiently absorb berberine, whereas dihydroberberine supplementation can bypass this dependency. So this is where you guys are really important. Dihydroberberine is pretty new. The studies on PubMed and the Cochrane database start in maybe 2019. There's a couple smaller studies, but human studies are just kind of starting to ramp up. Are you taking dihydroberberine? Tell me if that works. Have you taken berberine before? How do the two compare? This helps people out so much, and there's more people watching these videos than actually do these studies. in most cases. So it's really important you guys comment. It helps us all out, helps me make better videos, gives me a lot of great suggestions, and helps the people reading the comments as well.
Studies on dihydroberberine are recent, so they're not as advanced as berberine, which has been studied for years. But essentially, we can think of dihydroberberine in a way that it's just a more potent berberine, as it's a slight modification of the chemical structure. A study that was very high level, it looked at about 100 plus studies that were about 8 to 12 weeks in total, found that the blood sugar on average decreased by almost 1 full A1C point. It was found to lower cholesterol as well, and it decreased the average BMI by 1.07 points in the diabetics taking it. Now, it was more popular and more potent in diabetics rather than people who are not diabetics, but it was considered to be very safe as well. Berberine is also very well studied for the kidneys. It's safe and helps with kidney health, lowers cholesterol, inflammatory markers, and was shown to be extremely safe overall.
But when we look at specific numbers, what do you think it was? 30 pounds of weight loss? It's more like 5 pounds. Me personally, I don't prescribe things like Ozempic myself, but a lot of the people that I work with do in our offices. And I have seen patients lose significant amounts of weights, like 50 pounds, 100 pounds. This is not quite the extent of treatment you're going to get with something like berberine, but it is possible to accomplish these. And at the same time, medications, losing that much weight all at once could have its own side effects. And you're kind of reading that in the news right now. And going back to these diabetes studies, berberine did lower the triglyceride levels, the total cholesterol levels, and the LDL levels. So to summarize, we're looking at 100 plus studies that we just looked at in this video. Berberine, while it does help, on average, I kind of found that after about 3 months, the weight loss was in the 5 pound range, which is okay. It's better than nothing. And the cholesterol did decrease. And when I say decrease, we're talking like 5% range or so. We're not talking like 50% weight loss. We're not talking like 50% cholesterol loss. So specifically, one of the major studies was a 12-week study in 2012. When people take 3 dosages of 500 milligrams of berberine, they lost an average of 5 pounds, which is pretty good. And almost all studies did show that berberine helped lose weight and the waist circumference did decrease. But at the same time, in 2020, there was another meta-analysis that looked at even more studies, and they found some did have great results, some had medium to almost no results.
And because dihydroberberine lasts longer and is more potently absorbed, we would think that lower dosages would get similar results. But no one can say with 100% certainty because the studies have not been performed.
There was another group of 10 studies that found that berberine supplementation over a couple months had almost no result. Another study looked at the results for dosage. If you've taken over 1 gram or 1,000 milligrams of berberine per day, that usually had better results. If you took less, it usually did not have as good a result.
So in general, taking about 1,500 milligrams had better results than taking 500 milligrams. You want to take it consistently. Yes, you can take it before bed. You can take it on an empty stomach, but it can irritate you just a little bit more. You generally want to take it with a meal. Avoid the empty stomach. You might get some irritation, but that's how you lose about 5 to 6 pounds every 8 to 12 weeks, according to the studies. And the dosages for dihydroberberine are a little bit more gray, but generally recommended to take 100 to 200 milligrams per dose, and that's about 1 to 2 times per day, usually after a carb-filled meal. Start slow.
These studies suggest that berberine may have a modest effect on weight loss. However, we're looking at like 5 pounds over 3 months by controlling your diet, by strength training, by doing cardio, by sleeping better. You can probably achieve significantly better results. But berberine seems to be very well studied. It does help at this point. But this is the beauty of this channel. Probably the viewers that watch this video, it's going to be more than the 4,000 people that responded to this study. So if berberine helped you, this is huge for this channel. Tell me down below, what's your experiences? Did berberine help? Are you feeling better on it? Did you lose weight? It's really important you're helping out other people in the comments. If that helped, check out my videos on other things like turmeric, curcumin as an anti-inflammatory for potential weight loss. Check out those studies.